Presentation. Present. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna check. Does it say we're live?
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect. So then we'll just give it a couple seconds before we proceed. I'm gonna make an announcement that we're live and then we can get started.
Sounds good. This is something I'm okay to go on the record, but we should totally have webinar viewing parties.
Webinar viewing parties. That'd be nice. Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So then with that, we can get started then. All right, so welcome everyone who is watching / will be watching in the future if you're replaying back this webinar. We're going to get started for our last event for January Weekend in Paradise, which is a division webinar for our Hawaii clubs, and the topic they have chosen is Spirit in Circle K. So just an overview of the presentation. You'll meet your host for this webinar, and then we'll go to what is Spirit / why do we cheer, then moving on to cheering opportunities at district convention. We'll share with you some testimonials, and then we'll share how you can incorporate Spirit into your culture over there at Hawaii, and then some Spirit don'ts. We'll have a Q&A section if there are any questions, and then from there we'll share with you resources for incorporating Spirit. Take it away, Melody.
Okay, for those of y'all that know me and for those of y'all that don't, I am Melody Azani. I'm a student from UCSD Circle K. I'm a communication major with a writing minor, 4th year and about to graduate, and I'm the current Paradise Public Relations Chair. Fun fact about me, I'm a content creator, activist, and you can find me on social media at A Lost Night Owl.
Woo! And then a bit about me. My name is Tecla Ramirez. I go to Cal State San Marcos. I'm a literature and writing studies major, 4th year. And then fun fact is I really love to draw. I really love art, and it's like always been a passion of mine ever since I was very small. So yeah.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, so now we're gonna just introduce basically what is Spirit. So to start off with what is Spirit, I'm just gonna kind of show you what I think is like a pretty good example. This is UCR, and this is their Botalele cheer. Okay. So that was UCI Circle K doing Botalele, and so this is for me a perfect introduction on like what is Spirit, because really the main part of Spirit in Circle K is where you cheer your heart out to the point where you lose your voice, and that's a pretty good example of like what it is. And the reason kind of that it's over here in culture on the mainland is just it adds another like fun element to Circle K in addition to everything that we do with the tenants, service leadership, and fellowship. It's like another extra layer of fellowship that just helps make the Circle K experience feel unique and make it really memorable for people. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Okay. Melody, do you want to do this one?
Oh yeah. So why do we cheer? Well, we cheer because it boosts the mood of the room or boosts the mood of the event, especially when you have like 200 people people or even more people in one room, and they're either cheering different cheers or they're cheering the same cheer, the energy is contagious. And quite frankly, it's once in a lifetime for each event because you're not going to have the same people in the same room doing the same cheers all the time. And with this, it unites our clubs, our divisions, and even our district because Spirit is one of the few things that's a little more unique to the California, Nevada, Hawaii district. Not as many other districts do cheer. It's definitely quieter at international events. And honestly, it's a great way to show appreciation. Like, think of it this way: how awesome is it to have a group of people just cheering for you, saying you did a great job? And a simple thank you can go a long way when it could be something like, thank you from SDSU. And lastly, it's fun. Especially, we're not always going to have these rooms where we can do this. It's not like you're going to have a 9 to 5 job and you'll be able to yell Botalele.
So moving on to different types of cheers. So as Melody stated, CNH Circle K really has its own specific brand of cheering and its own unique. It's one of the biggest out of all the districts in international. So there's different types of cheers for each level. You can find district cheers, for like CNH, such as the I believe in CNH, I believe in CNH. You'll have your respective division cheers for the 9 divisions, and then the respective club cheers. And so some different types of cheering that you can find are, for example, repeat cheers, which we'll have an example of a little later in the presentation, but those are cheers where basically you just repeat the same thing over and over. You can have the stomp clap cheers, which are a little more complex and they add like some sort of rhythmic movement, which by inserting specific like stomping or clapping routine in there along with the cheer. You have your basic appreciation cheers. So for example, one of the most easiest appreciation cheers to start off with is the superstar cheer. So how this one goes is all you basically do is you say S-U-P-E-R, a superstar is what you are, S-U-P-E-R, a superstar is what you are. And this is done a lot at district events just to show appreciation for someone's hard work. For example, the chairs who are putting on the event, or even workshop hosts or presentations, or like if there's any like guest speakers, co-audience, things like that, just to show appreciation and love from Circle K. That's what that cheer is designed for. There are also hype cheers, which is what I like to call the Botalele cheer because it just gets everyone really excited. And even though it originated from UCI, pretty much almost everyone in the entire CNH Circle K district knows it. And it's just a really fun way to get people really hyped up and bring up the energy in the room. And there's also some call and response where basically you'll have the cheerleader, yeah. You'll have the leader of the cheer say something to start it off, and then the group will respond. And then there's tons of other cheers, I'm sure, that we haven't covered so far, but those are some of the ones that stand out. Oh, sorry. Okay. Want to do this one, or do you want me to do it?
You go for it.
Okay, so for this one, this is the example of the repetitive cheers that I was talking about in the previous slide, and this is one of Paradise's cheers, and this one's called En Fuego, and so you can read the description there, but I'm going to show you a little clip of what this cheer will look like. So, or will sound like specifically. Sorry we can't show it to you in higher graphics, but the sound is there and you'll get the impact. But this is an example of the Paradise So Hot Right Now cheer. Okay. So that was basically how it would go down. As you can see, it's really intense, and when a lot of people do it, cheering looks like really great, and it really helps kind of bring everyone together at that event. So this is one of Paradise's more popular cheers, in addition to the haka and things like that. So this one's really simple, and the lyrics are right there. So in case you didn't hear in the video, because it was kind of hard to tell, but they were saying, "Paradise so hot right now, hot, 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 on fuego, on fire, can't hear us, we'll scream higher." And so this one, basically, we call it the repeating one because you're just repeating these 4 lines 3 times, and each time you do it, it's designed where you say a little bit faster and a little bit louder. So the goal is to basically make it sound like you're just saying gibberish. But this one is really fun to do, and this one is a great starter if you're looking to teach new members, especially like, for example, over there in Hawaii, like your members have never been exposed to cheering at all. This is a great one to start out because it's relatively simple and easy to learn.
All right, so one of the awesome spirit spaces for the year is District Convention. Now, District Convention, or DCON, is one of the times of the year where we're celebrating the end of the term. So there's spirit sessions, known as also general sessions, and awards. It's also the event where you're electing the district executive board as well as the next lieutenant governors that will be representing your respective divisions, in our case, Paradise. So I think what I love most about DCON is the energy, especially because it is the end of the year, or the end of the term, more rather. And you get people cheering so loud, cheering to the point where they're losing their voice. And on the last day, you know a lot of people are exhausted, but they're still cheering, they're still going for it because it matters to them. And the biggest thing I recommend for district convention, because there are awards, think of little cheers of how you'd like to show appreciation for your members, because there will be moments where your club could be taking home an award and you don't want to be running around a room filled of tables trying to coordinate something. It's easier to have more established appreciation cheers, especially Paradise we have our own, and there are clubs that have their own. So using the Tumblr or using any of our resources to learn them is definitely helpful. Nicolette,
Yes.
anything you want to add to this?
You've basically said it all. For Spirit of District Convention, there's lots of opportunities for you to cheer at DCON, not only with your own clubs, but with your divisions. And it's just a great way of, and also a great example, like when you actually are physically there at DCON for the members that can attend, to really see the culture of Spirit at CNH in action. And it's a really good way just to see how Spirit really like unites everyone and really brings everyone together, and how Spirit is also used for recognition. I think one of the things that I really enjoy about Circle K is that we also, in addition to cheering like for ourselves, we also put a big emphasis on cheering for others. That's basically all I'd like to add. Cool. So is that it for this slide then?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so now we'll move on just to some testimonials. So we've reached out to a couple different members of our Paradise division, and we're just going to read out to you what they had to say about like what Spirit meant to them. So starting off with the first testimonial, which is from Jibas Aguilar from SDSU. He says that, "I like to think of Spirit and cheering as a secret fourth tenet of Circle K. Spirit is a way in which we can unite Circle K members, and it'll also pump people up for events/meetings. And also, I just like losing my voice." Then Bradley Ventayan from UCSD, he says, "Spirit to me is a form of showing solidarity in our CKI community." And for the last testimonial of this page is from Ace Cabato from UH Manoa. And he says, "Spirit to me also means unification. It keeps everyone together and gives everyone the adrenaline they need. It also brings out a different person you never thought existed before." So all of these testimonials have a central theme, which is the theme of unification, and how it basically unites the members in our Circle K community, or little Circle K family. And also, like, really good point is that Spirit does bring out like another side of you that you never thought you could, whether it's like a more bolder side. You're kind of surprised, like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So it's just a really great feeling. And it's also something that's like really energizing and just kind of rejuvenates you in a way when you're standing there with everyone cheering for the same reason. It's just something very special, and I'm happy that these testimonials kind of embodied all that. So, moving on.
Ooh, page 2.
Woo!
Oh, that's my testimony.
That's you. You.
Spirit to me is a mixture of fun that's only available in certain spaces, but also in our case, humbling ourselves in the name of service. If someone did a cheer like boom, boom, shake, shake, it'd be weird if they did it by themselves. But it's amazing when we do it together, especially it's so coordinated. And just like how service can start with one person and have a ripple effect, that's also how certain cheers work as well. Especially there are schools that have such memorable cheers that they can get an entire room to go along with it. Now, the testimony from Jay Lazar, the spirit chair from Cal State San Marcos. Spirit to me in CKI means the compassion for others, the drive for service, and being the physical manifestation of CKI, the spirit. Most of all, it means being the hype for everyone else who can't bring in the spirit themselves, because it's a natural phenomenon for people to gravitate to someone with that positive and welcoming kind of energy. And I want to be all that CKI spirit was meant to be.
So as you can see from these testimonials, these are some of the reason why I feel like good examples of like why Spirit kind of belongs in Circle K and why it's really a part of Circle K. And I think if your officers over there in Hawaii choose to do so, it's an excellent incorporation to your Circle K experience, and it's something really special that can help further connect the CNH districts together. So for a little spirit how-to, so this is the section where we're going to give you a couple tips on how you can incorporate spirit over there in Hawaii. So since it's very different over here on the mainland, it's very well established already. There's a lot of traditions that are already been set in place. For you over there, it's going to be about setting the foundation and kind of starting and introducing it if you so choose to. No one can force you to cheer, but it's really fun, so we hope you'll join us. But the first step we have for you is basically to start small, because spirit, you can probably see when you like research or look up, it's very kind of scary when everyone just does it all at once, and it can be very overwhelming, especially if you're not used to it. So by starting small, you can introduce small appreciation cheers at either events or meetings, just to kind of get members used to the idea of cheering in spirit and what it means. Then you can further like level up by teaching cheers during your general body meetings. So kind of dedicating a section for that, and to just like take time to go over a cheer with your members, spend like 5 minutes or so just practicing it and getting them used to the idea of cheering. You can also further advance like the spirit part into your leadership aspect by appointing a spirit chair. So having an application for that, and then your spirit chair, you can delegate them roles on what you would want them to do, specifically if it's things like developing cheers, or whether it's introducing cheers or leading them at the general body meetings, or which goes into the next bullet, hosting spirit workshops during like either you could have it after a spirit project, you could have, or a service project, you could have it after a GBM, you could host spirit nights where it's kind of like a late night social thing where you'll gather together and you can do some spirits, and then afterwards you can have a post-social social somewhere to hang out and just bond. Another thing you can do to prepare yourself is to look up cheers on YouTube. So for Paradise specifically, we have a YouTube page, and there's a couple YouTube videos up that teach you how to do some of the cheers in the division. You can also look up cheers from other divisions and clubs as well, just for inspiration, because it's really good to cast your net out wide and look around to see what's available, to see what other clubs and divisions have come up, because cheers are really unique. And one great thing about cheering is that you can really customize it to what fits for you. And then don't be afraid to talk to fellow Circle K members in the district. So talking to whoever. So if you, for example, if you're a spirit chair over there in Hawaii and you don't know what to do, talking to spirit chairs over here in California and Nevada just to get ideas on how you can start developing some things for spirit implementation over there on your side. And also make sure to research and utilize the resources that you have available. We'll talk a little bit later in the presentation about like what resources that Paradise has to offer in terms of cheering to help you get started. And then the kind of final like ultimate step, boss battle level, is to start creating your own cheers and implementing them. That way when you join us at district convention at the end of the year, we can cheer with you and we can basically spotlight you, because another great thing about cheers is the way it makes like your club stand out and really like kind of gives you your special moment at district convention. Melody, did I forget anything else you want to add?
I think one more thing I want to add is a cute way to think about spirit sometimes is think of them like trading pins, because you have cheers you know or cheers you've developed, and then other divisions, other schools have their own cheers. So you could trade by teaching each other your cheers. And that's an even better way to learn. By the end of your time in Circle K, hopefully you can cheer with most of the room.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so then Melody's going to talk about some spirit don'ts, because this is a very important thing to address, because spirit really gets everyone excited, and sometimes that excitement leads us to get carried away. So Melody, when you're ready.
I think one of the things to notice is when I refer sometimes to decon or spirit, I say a space. And with cheering, you have to create a safe space, especially because that's a moment where you're kind of being vulnerable to the room and you're letting everything just express itself. That's why some people say, oh, you're the physical embodiment of spirit, because I have heard members say that they have spirit blackouts where they get so into it that that's all they're thinking about. And it's absolutely amazing when you see it in person. So, some spirit don'ts to foster this community is no put downs. Don't be rude. Everyone worked hard on their cheer and everyone's put their time in to create them. So don't be mean. Don't be like, oh, our cheers are better than theirs, because it's not about that. It's about how you support your own clubs, because that is spirit. That is also good sportsmanship as well. And that continues into no booing or no invading someone else's bubble. So we have some physically active cheers. Don't try to elbow somebody or like get too close to them, because some people have their own comfort in terms of how much space they want. So always make sure to give people a little room. And similar to that, don't just show spirit when it's your turn or when it's just your club doing something, because CNH is a family. And it would be rude if like you're having fun and then you see over there someone else is just kind of like, hmm, and then just going super active when it's their turn or they can manage a time to cheer. And this next part is a little difficult. Is try not to interrupt other cheers. It can get a little it can get a little crazy when it's a giant room. I can understand that, but please try to make room for other clubs. Make as much space as you take space from the room. And also, the number one rule for spirit is you can't make someone cheer. If they're uncomfortable with it, or if it's not their style, that's okay. That's why we have all these different aspects of Circle K. you find the piece of the puzzle that fits you. And sometimes people will be uncomfortable. So that's why sometimes spirit is not the best thing to do at a first meeting. Because imagine a first year walking into a room, not knowing what Circle K is, and just seeing people yelling at the top of their lungs, and they're just kind of like, okay, I don't know what's going on. There's a few scenarios in this case. They're either going to run out of that room, or who knows, maybe they'll join you. But that latter part, a little more uncommon. And in terms of events where there's cheering, especially during awards or when they're trying to make announcements, try to keep cheers at a minimal. So focus on smaller cheers that you don't extend the program or inconvenience the people that work so hard putting together this itinerary and this timeline for the event to go well. Because yes, we're having fun, but at the same time, this is also an event for us all. So don't rain on someone else's parade. Okay. Anything to add?
No, you basically said it all. I guess just like remember, when introducing spirit, I think the big one is don't force it upon people. Even though you may really like it might not be someone else's cup of tea. So it's just very important, like when you're incorporating that into your club culture or in your Circle K experience, just to make sure that it doesn't feel forced and that you're understanding if someone maybe doesn't want to cheer. Don't take it personally. Everyone has like their own thing. So just make sure that you always keep that in mind when introducing cheering and all the fun stuff about spirit to your club. Okay, so now we're going to transition into a Q&A time. So if you have any questions about anything, whether it's about spirit or decon, I know decon was another popular webinar topic that the Hawaii members wanted covered, you can submit those to the link in the description. If you're watching via YouTube, if you click the description, there should be a link to a Google form where you can type in your question. And then also the link is available on the Paradise Facebook group as well. So we'll just give it a couple minutes, or not minutes, but like seconds, just to get in any questions and all that. And then we'll start answering questions. Hooray, Melody, we have a question. So the first question is, how does spirit bring everyone together? And can it tear everyone apart? So, yeah. For this one is really good. I would say yes. I might be biased, but spirit is really great at bringing people together if you do it correctly. Spirit can also be a way to make people feel like excluded or like they're not in like the cool club, if you will. So when you practice spirit, also remember to practice inclusivity, and remember that the main point about spirit is to really, at least to me, I would say, is to really show appreciation and just unify. So unify yourself with like those around you. It can get competitive sometimes, just with spirit awards and things like that, but just remember not to let it get too competitive, because it can make the experience like really horrible for someone if they feel like they're being forced to do this, if they don't really find joy in it, or if they really feel like you're just cheering for the sake of like winning some like award or some title, rather than kind of to show that you really want to take the time to bond and have an experience with those around you, or to really like spotlight and appreciate someone and acknowledge someone for their either hard work or their whatever they've done to that you're cheering for them for. So it's tricky, so just remember to keep that in mind when you're doing that. Melody, your thoughts?
To bounce off that, I think a way to think of it is spirit is also like an inside joke. And And the great thing is we have a whole district that's hopefully in on it. So that's why it's kind of nice sharing that little thing, because in spaces where you're cheering, that's the once in a lifetime space for you. So take advantage of that. Maybe ask questions, learn cheers, and that's how you can bring people together. I got to know people from other divisions because I asked, like, hey, your cheer is awesome. Can you teach me that? And typically, another response I get is, if I teach you this, can you teach me the haka? So it's a fun sharing experience, especially like if you're taking the time teaching someone something. It's also additional bonding. Now, unfortunately, I have also witnessed moments where spirit can like tear a group apart. And I think the best advice I can give is, if you notice things like this happening, don't be afraid to speak up, because we're a family and family takes care of each other. There are moments where people get so caught up in the heat of the moment that they forget that some people don't have the same boundaries as they do. So it can make some people a little nervous or make them a little more anxiety prone. And that happens sometimes. And you kind of learn how to watch out for that. But again, this is why we tell you about like the spirit don'ts, because we want a safe space for all of you, so you feel comfortable to cheer, and so it's a good memory rather than a terrible one.
Yeah, so if that was your question, so just everybody keep all those things that we said in mind, and then also like our word is like not the law, like feel free to like get input from everyone, but the main thing that both Melody and I feel like want to you know that spirit is fun. Just remember not to get carried away, and remember to make it a positive experience for everyone that's involved. That way it doesn't lead to any negativity. So another question that we got was, what advice can you give to connect on a deeper level with members other than through community services and socials? So this question, I hope we can answer it because this is about, I hope you want us to answer it in like a spirit context. And if not, talk to us later and we'll answer it properly how you want. But what's really great about Circle K is that yes, we are a leadership organization, we're a community service organization, but we also like have room for fellowship. So if you find that your service or social events are lacking in whatever element, or if you need like some spice in your life, Spirit is a way you can definitely do that. So for example, you could have like, if you don't have any established chairs, like some brain storming sessions, because that way it gets people to come together and kind of like communicate and like connect with each other and kind of bounce ideas back off of each other, and hopefully it'll get people talking who don't normally talk, because sometimes people like to stick with their buddy or stick with who they know. So by introducing like something like this, you can really get members who don't really talk to each other interacting, and hopefully they can build additional bonds and make new friendships and things like that. Spirit is like a really like awesome thing because it's just purely fun. You don't really like have to think about it, and spirit can happen anywhere. So if you're finding that like socials are like, whether it's like restaurants, if like members are too cheap, they don't want to do that. I know I'm cheap, you know, we're all struggling college students. So socials are free. Spirit like socials are free. You can have them wherever. And they're always like readily available to you, and it's just a great way to add some like an additional like wow factor to any event, whether it's like a workshop, a service project, etc. So yeah, that's my take on that question.
I think to bounce off that, another thing to think about is sometimes the thought of cheering and spirit can be awkward for people. So you can always do something where it's like a little field day or a little day where you're doing icebreakers first to get them comfortable with each other, and then slowly sneaking in the cheers. That's also a way to establish comfort. But if your question was more in terms of like safe space, activities that you can do to promote safe space, or just bonding your club closer together, feel free to reach out to us after the webinar, and we will gladly discuss that with you, especially it's definitely specialties of ours.
Definitely. Okay. Let me check if there are any other questions, and if not, we can move on to resources. And if we weren't able, like if you had a question and we've already moved on to the presentation, feel free to submit it anyway. We'll check back at the end of the presentation to see if any like additional questions are left over. And if not, feel free to reach out to Melody and myself, always like whenever, so we can help you like with any questions and things that you might have. Okay, so I'm not seeing any new questions aside from the ones that were just asked. So we'll move on to talk about Spirit resources. Woo! So this is the Spirit resources that we have available to you. So the first one that we want to show you is the Tumblr for Paradise. So this is, if you ever want to know cheers from either the division or any of the other the schools that are in Paradise. Right now we just have the UCSD, SDSU, Palomar, and CCSM cheers from the clubs, and then additional Paradise cheers. So if you're wondering what the name is, it's paradisedivision.tumblr.com, and it'll take you to this page, and they're all listed on here, names, and then they're all basically spelled out for you so you can learn the words. And then they're also at the bottom, you can see like what cheer it is in the little hashtag section below. Melody, anything you want
to add? Also, if you click the menu button does have the schools. That's what a little social media trick, that's what the hashtags are for. So I can organize them in the nice little categories.
So if we click the UCSD one, it takes us to the UCSD cheers. So like one of my personal favorites is the UCR what UCSD DD. So that one, so you can learn the wordings to that. And then Paradise cheers. This has all of the ones that are currently right now available that we can learn. So it also has some videos as well. For example, Boom Boom Shake Shake. You can watch the video on it and you can learn the moves, because this, like we had mentioned earlier, we talked about the clapping and stomping cheers. Boom Boom Shake Shake is an example of Paradise's version of that. And this one's really fun to do, and it's very satisfying once you figure out how to actually do the movements. The tutorial does a really good job of like taking you through the steps slowly so you can put all the moves together, because it looks complex, but it's just repetitive, and once you get like the general beat, it's pretty easy to understand. But yeah, but if you're watching this and you're attending DCON, fun fact, you should start learning this now, because this will be our Paradise roll call, Boom Boom Shake Shake. We're going to mix it up this year. So fun fact, exclusive just to you if you're watching right now. Melody, anything else like you want to add about this particular resource?
If you're looking at a chair and you're not sure how it goes, if you want to attend my office hours, I can help you out as well, because most of the DLT knows their cheers.
So yeah, so feel free to, again, reach out, because if you don't ask for help, people don't know you need help. So reach out if you're having any trouble with any of these cheers, or if you can't find this page for whatever reason. But this is a really good resource. For example, if you wanted to start incorporating, as we had mentioned, cheers into your GBMs, this is a really good way you could pull this up, or you can fact check to make sure that the wording you're teaching your members is correct. Okay, and then back to the presentation.
Oh, one last note, and Nicolette, just feel free to transition as you'd like. But if your club has developed a cheer, or if your club has a cheer they want to feature on the Tumblr page, feel free to hit us up and we'll gladly add it.
Oh yeah, excellent point. I want to highlight what Melody just said, because it's very important, because right now this is essentially our database for specifically for Paradise cheers. So if you find that your club is missing, or you've developed a cheer and you want to add it on here, please contact us so we can put it on here, because this is the centralized information for cheering right now that Paradise has. Cool. Okay, so other resources that are available to you is you can, again, this is the whole part about taking initiative, reaching out, contacting any club or division spirit chairs, and reaching out to them, whether they're in your division or outside of your division. If they're outside of your division, that's always good because it's good to see like what everyone else is doing, because every division has their own unique style and flavor when it comes to cheering, and it's really great just to, again, cast your net out wide and get as much ideas as possible, especially when you're in the foundation build, stage building of developing cheers and introducing them to your members and adding it to like your club. Contact other Circle K friends. So any personal friends that you have in Circle K, like reach out to them and be like, hey, because they may have good ideas or they may be able to connect you to the proper channels as well. So they're also a great resource that you should venture out and use if you have not already. It's really good if you just need like someone to help you brainstorm as well. Feel free to do that as well. Everyone in Circle K is really friendly and always are willing to help out. And then YouTube is another good example. So there are example videos available, as we showed you on like the Tumblr page. There were videos examples for certain cheers, so you can watch them and you can show them and teach your members, especially if you're gonna like start maybe sharing with them at GBMs, or if you just want to like learn them yourself first before you start teaching your members, things like that. So the links there are there for you to click and it'll take you to videos and things like that. Any other things that you want to mention, Melody, that I missed or that you want to like reemphasize?
I'm just going to reemphasize that if you have cheers or if you want to make videos for your cheers, just feel free to let us know, because the Paradise resources are also resources that serve you.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Okay, so yeah, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go back and just check to see if we have any questions. Okay, so no new questions. So we'll basically wrap it up right now because that's pretty much all we have to share with you. So we just want to thank you very much for listening, for those of you that joined us. And then for those of you that joined us, we will be sending out a sign-in sheet after the webinar that basically will confirm your attendance, and that way we can like send it out to respective secretaries and stuff. That way they have you on files for that amazing MRP and all that stuff and participation. So then last thing before we leave that I want to mention, if you have any other questions, you can always feel free to come talk to either me or Melody or whoever, any other members of the division leadership team for Paradise. They'll be happy to answer any additional questions. And then the last thing that I feel that everyone keeps forgetting is, since when we record these, they automatically go up on our Paradise Division YouTube channel, and you can replay them and rewatch them. So for example, if we glossed over a section too fast, or if you came in a little bit later into the webinar and want to go back and rewatch it, you can always do that at your convenience by going to our Paradise YouTube channel. So if you just type in CNH Circle K Paradise, it should pop up. You'll see the Paradise logo and you'll see all the videos that are available to you. That's also if you want to watch any DCMs, by the way. Like if you missed any, since everything is always recorded, you can go back and watch it as well. But yeah, thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you for your questions. Melody, anything else to add before we go?
No, thank you for everything.
Yeah, cool. So thank you everyone for attending our first Paradise webinar. We hope to have many more. Thank you to the Hawaii members who requested this topic, and we hope that you learned and benefited from this. And if you want a copy of the presentation, we'll make it available to you as well. But thank you everyone, and this is us saying bye. So bye. And we'll stop recording.